Turning to this now, a federal judge appointed by President Obama has blocked President Trump's order to stop migrants from claiming asylum. The judge ruling that Trump, quote, lacks the inherent constitutional authority to displace federal statutes when it comes to removals. Here to react is former Deputy Assistant DHS Secretary and former Acting ICE Director Jonathan Fahey. Jonathan, good morning to you. So what do you think about this ruling? Do you think that this could lead to an increase in border crossings?
First of all, it's sort of like, here we go again. After the Supreme Court basically shut down these judges from these massive, rulings affecting the whole country as opposed to just the litigants in front of them, we are back here again. I think this could potentially, but I don't really think it will, because I think the message has been sent to the people who want to cross here illegally, that it's harder to get in, and once you get in, you're not going to stay. But it, again, just shows a judge really overreaching, because the Trump administration, at the beginning of the administration, declared a national emergency at the border, and this is within his inherent powers. And all they're saying is you have to go to a port of entry. You can still claim asylum, you just can't sneak across, and if you get caught, then claim asylum. There's what Donald Trump is doing, what the Trump administration is doing, is inherently reasonable here. So, but ultimately, it's a judge overstepping his bounds. I don't think it'll have much of an effect, because I think the message has been sent, and people that are claiming asylum are still going to be remaining in Mexico and other things like that. So, but again, it does show a judge trying to get involved in the executive role, which is what President Trump's exclusive authority to do so in these areas.
Yeah, you're mentioning it here. I mean, there was that ruling, that Supreme Court ruling on nationwide injunctions on Friday. So how does that come into play here? I know that the judge recognized that and put a stay on this ruling for 14 days. So what happens next?
Well, I think the one thing that I would give the judge credit for, he is giving 14 days for the Trump administration to appeal this. So if he is wrong, which I think he is, he will be reversed and it will never go into effect. So that's the one thing. He didn't make it immediate, so that's a good thing. But what happens next? They will appeal to the Court of Appeals or to the Supreme Court. If the Court of Appeals doesn't take that, and the Supreme Court will rule on this. And I think what's interesting, particularly with the ruling last week, was the Supreme Court seem to be very deferential to the executive branch and the decision-making and the discretion of the executive branch. So I think President Trump is in very good standing with the higher courts, regardless of what this district court judge does. But within 14 days, we'll have some clarity on it, because I don't think an appellate court or the Supreme Court is just going to let this sit and the 14 days expire. So ultimately, I think the ruling will ultimately not go into effect. But even if somehow it does, I don't think it'll have a major effect on what's going on at the border, which, as we've talked about numerous times, that the president's been quite successful on the border during this administration.
Yeah, June marked the lowest number of border crossings in CBP history, nearly 90% lower than the average of 2021 to 2024. So successful is the operative word there. Jonathan Fahey, live for us. Jonathan, thank you for joining us.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.